Hey, what's up? Back with another Outcome Memories video today for you guys. I was gonna upload something else, but I don't really want to do that anymore. So I went back to the Outcome Memories video ideas that I had, and one of the video ideas was about Amy and why I think she's kind of like an unbalanced character and how I would change her and stuff. So yeah, let's talk about it for a bit. Let's talk. This video I don't think has any footage of Amy because I'm pretty sure I couldn't get any footage of Amy. So, yeah, my bad. I just don't care enough. I'm sorry. Look, I tried. Point is, yeah. So, why do I think Amy's an unbalanced character? Well, I mainly think it comes down to how she's kind of good at everything and doesn't really have very noticeable drawbacks, minus the whole like gambling for cards thing, where some cards are like really bad, some cards are just really good. I'll get to the cards later, but for now, I want to discuss the hammer swing she has. I think it's called hammer swing. I don't remember what the ability's called. What is it called? I didn't write it down in my notes. I made notes for this video. I think it's literally just called hammer. Okay. Well, yeah, her hammer ability. I think it's a little not great because basically there's like no cue you get, like visual cue, for when she actually uses the ability. And I mean, there technically is a visual cue and a sound cue, but there's basically no chance you can react to it if she's like right next to you. And call it a skill issue. Maybe it's just because 2011X sucks, but I don't know. I just think she should have some sort of like startup animation for that ability so that you actually have a bit more time to react to it than just like, oh, um, zero point 0.1 nanosecond. So there you go. That's all the reaction time you get. You get the idea. I just think there should be a startup animation for that ability. Other than that, I think the stun time is fine. I'm gonna make some other suggestions for abilities and stuff, so I think that will be fine based on what I'm suggesting. Hammer throw is fine. I don't have much of an issue with it because half time it doesn't hit me, and if it does hit me, half time it's just my fault. So yeah, I don't really know what to suggest for hammer throw. I think it's fine as is. Maybe it's a little stupid in some cases, but I don't have as much of an issue with it as the just normal hammer ability. So honestly, it's fine. I think it's fine. Next, we gotta talk about the whole gambling aspect of Amy's kit. So if you don't know, basically at the start of the match, you get two of these cards. I'm gonna say to your deck, but you know what I mean. You get two cards, and these cards will give you certain buffs or nerfs, depending on which cards you get. Now, the problem I have with these cards is that there's like three cards in the game that are just like really good, and then there's every other card that's just not that good. And so most people are going to want to get like a combination of basically three of the cards in the game right now out of the like, I think there's six cards, I think. Something like that. And yeah, most people are going to want like three of those cards. So like half of them. The other half people just don't care about. And I feel like that kind of sucks because it limits the variety in decks and stuff. And it also encourages people to have cards that just give them a lot of speed and damage resistance and stuff, which I just don't personally like that. Again, call it a skill issue, but it just sucks to go against because those cards can give you some crazy speed. And I mean, like, 2011X is good at singling out people, but when you're going against Amy and she has like a ton of speed and is also resistant to a decent amount of damage you do, it just sucks, man. It really sucks. And I swear to God, half of my hits just go through her hitbox. I don't know if it's just because I have bad ping or they have bad ping. I don't know how that hitbox system works on Roblox. I know Roblox hitboxes are bad, and there's not really much game devs can do about that. But I mean, come on, dude. Like, I swear I'm hitting half those shots. Come on now. Anyways, enough of that. So, you get the idea. There's like three cards that people always want to get, and those cards are pretty powerful in the right hands, and it basically makes it impossible to kill a good Amy player unless you just like literally target her for like half the match, which you know no one wants to do that because it just wastes time. They're gonna be mad about it. You're gonna be mad about it. It just sucks. So, what would I suggest they change about the cards? Well, I actually wrote down some balance changes here that I'm going to share in this video. I'm going to go through the cards in order, and I'm also going to suggest some extra stuff that I'm not going to spoil yet, but you'll see what I mean when I get there. So let me just run through the notes I made here. Okay, so the first one is for the world card. You know, the one with Sonic with the globe in the background. What I wrote for the stuff I would change about it is to pretty much entirely rework the card. You're going to see a lot of these cards that I just entirely rework. Um, so for the world, my suggestion was to make it where you would get increased speed. I'm not sure like what exact value, because again, I don't like balance games. I'm not a game dev. I don't know how to balance shit. Okay, don't listen to what I say. I'm probably wrong about everything, and my suggestions are terrible. But what I wrote down is to basically have the card increase your speed by a certain amount. We're just gonna say like I don't know, 5% or whatever. And in return, you also get the guilt debuff. You know, like the debuff Sonic gets when it's a solo, because like he feels bad for killing his friends dying, you know, that stuff. Like, oh, my friends died. Yeah, let's give that debuff to Amy. So basically, what I'm going to suggest for most of these cards, like you're going to see here, is that pretty much all of them have a con and a pro. So none of these cards are just like purely good, and they always have like a caveat to them. That's what I'm suggesting with all these. So yeah, for the world card, you get increased speed, maybe a little more than what I'm suggesting, but in return you take more damage. So it's like 50-50, right? The second card is the full card, you know, the one with tails. My suggestion, and this might be a little too OP, so I don't know exactly like how this could be balanced, but my suggestion was to make it to where the full card gives you reduced cooldowns on all of your abilities. But you know how Tails has that passive where he can see nearby EXCs, because like you know, he can see their highlight and stuff even when they're invisible. Well, I thought the inverse could be true with this card, and you become highlighted to the EXE as long as you have the card. It's kind of like a reverse Tails, but I feel like reduced cooldowns might be kind of OP, especially if you get it with another card that gives you like longer stun time or something. That might be OP, so I don't know. I was thinking at most they could reduce cooldowns by like 3 seconds or something. 5 at most. That's like the most I'd be willing to go for when it comes to reduced cooldowns, because it might be a little too overpowered if you could like use hammer swing and hammer throw all the time. But just a suggestion. I think it's more interesting to interact with than just more speed and shorter stun time. So that's just what I think. Next card is the strength card. Basically, I wrote it should just stay the same. The only difference is that I would remove the damage debuff it gives. If you don't know, I think strength... Now, I got this from the unofficial wiki, so this could be wrong. I'm pretty sure strength gives you a... let me read the card real quick. Oh, the cards are up here. I'm pretty sure strength gives you a 5-second stun time. Speed reduction in 3, and it gives you 10% more damage. Or it causes you to take 10% more damage, my bad. So, what I would suggest is just... Oh my god, I can't talk. What I would suggest, God, is to remove the damage debuff. I think it should just slow you down and give you longer stun time. I think that's fair. Honestly, I don't have anything else to say for that one. The next one is the Emperor, which is the one with Shadow. I think this card should give you increased damage resistance, so I think... How much does it give? 15%. So I was thinking maybe raising it to like 20 or 25% or something around that. But at the cost of you not getting a speed increase, and you also get decreased stun time. So basically what the Tails card was like, except you don't get the speed, but you just get higher damage resistance. So basically you turn into a tank with Emperor. That's pretty much my idea. Not great. I couldn't really find anything else to represent a Shadow, so I don't know, man. If anyone has suggestions, leave them in the comments. I don't know. Next card is the Sun card. I also wrote that this card can basically stay the same. The only difference I would make is that maybe you can't self-heal, so you could only be like a medic with this card and blind teammates while they're healing. I personally think it's a little OP if you can self-heal. I don't know. Me personally, I think it's a little OP, even though I like it when I play Amy. Like, I like that you can self-heal. I don't really think it's like healthy for balance, so I don't know. Might just be me. It does heal you pretty slowly, but I don't know, man. I mean, like, it's a little annoying. Might be a hot take. I don't know. I think they could keep the self heal. I just wrote that because I don't really like the idea of being able to self heal, and basically just get out of like risky situations for free. Even though it does come down to gambling, but I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. The last card is the Moon card. So a lot of people don't like the Moon card because it gives you a lot of fog on your screen when you get it. It also gives you a random buff or debuff, which I can see why people don't like that, because you basically get blinded, and in return you get some random buff or nerf. You could end up getting nerfed with this card, and then it's just completely irrelevant, you know? So I understand why people don't like this card. So, in my opinion, what I would change is to make it the same in regards to, like, you still have fog on your screen, it still kind of blinds you, but in return, you always get a buff to your stats. You never get a nerf, you always get a buff, but you still have to deal with the fog. And I wrote that they could, like, slightly reduce the fog, but I don't know if that's really applicable in this situation. So, maybe they could slightly reduce the fog and give you, like, only buffs instead of being able to give you a nerf. I think that would make sense, but yeah, I mean, it's whatever. I don't know how to make the card more interesting than that, but I do think the fog is an interesting drawback to the card, so I actually would keep that the same. I know most people won't agree with me, but I think that's an interesting drawback to that card, so yeah, that's what I would do for that card. Moving on, I have a special section that is dedicated to cards I think they could add that are like wild cards. As in, basically, if you get these cards, you only get that card. So the card you would get, if it's a wild card, it basically overwrites the other card that you would have gotten. So like if you get any of these cards I'm about to read off, it would invalidate the other card and you would just get that card. But it's because it's like a whole thing of like buffs and nerfs pretty much that represents the character, sort of. So the first card is the Faker. I'm guessing you can probably tell who this card's meant to be based off of. And this card would allow you to self-heal. So basically what I suggested being taken away from the Sun card. And you can only do this when you stand still. So you have to stand still, but you don't get blinded. You just have to be standing still. And you also get a buff to your movement speed to match Metal Sonic being kind of fast. However, the drawback is that when you die, you explode or you blow up and you ragdoll everyone around you. It sounded funnier when I was writing it down. It doesn't sound as funny now that I'm reading it out loud, but yeah, basically you blow up and you ragdoll people. And you also can't be healed. So you can't be healed by Cream. You have to heal on your own. You don't get external healing. Because, you know, Metal Sonic can't be healed by Cream. That was my thought process. Maybe it's not the best. I don't know. Anyways. Next card is Master Plan. That was cringy. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure you can tell who this card's based off of. So, for this card, you get increased speed and reduced cooldowns on all your abilities. This includes the gambling ability, by the way. You probably already guessed that. And in return, you take more damage, and you're also always highlighted. So basically a mix of like the Sonic debuff as well as the Tails debuff I suggested. So yeah, basically you just become really annoying, but in return, you take more damage, and you're always highlighted. So the EXE can always go after you if they feel like it, because they're going to always know where you're at. This is like anticipating future executioners. Like I know 2011X can basically always track you, but I'm thinking of like Colossus or like I don't know what Tails Doll is gonna be like, but you know what I mean. Fleetway maybe, I don't know, like 50. I don't know how Fleetway's gonna be, but yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking of the future, so to speak. And the last card is called the Pawn. Basically, this is like the Bowser card. You know, in Mario Party, you can get that Bowser thing or whatever. I don't know if any of you play Mario Party, but it's like the bad card, pretty much. It's something you never want to get because it's really bad. Very rare chance you'd get this card, by the way. Like, probably, I don't know, 5% chance or something. But it gives you reduced stun time and reduced speed. You're always highlighted. You have increased cooldowns, which means your abilities take longer to use. And also, your icon will become distorted, so no one can see your health. And sometimes you see illusions of the EXE, kind of like Noli's illusions. Basically, you see like fake EXEs pop up that are meant to like mimic the movement of the executioner that's currently being played. So 2011X, Colossus, Tails Dolph, Wiggle, whatever. And I wrote good luck. So yeah, good luck if you get this card. You're basically dead. I just think it would be a funny like sudden death card, you know. I don't think anyone got the Mario Party joke, so it probably isn't that good, honestly. But anyways, that's basically it. That's honestly all the suggestions I have to, I guess, rework Amy. I don't know what else to call it besides a rework, but yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think adding more to the cards is good, especially since a lot of the cards people just don't use, like Strength and the Moon. I've never really seen people use those cards, or at least like using those cards, so I think making them more fun to use with all of them having pros and cons would be pretty good for the game, I feel. Now, I don't really play Amy, so Amy players are going to have to chime in on this for me, because I don't really know how good that would be for Amy, but I think it would make it more fun to play against her and to play as her, so that's... Damn, sorry. I don't know what that was, but that's my suggestions for Amy. If you enjoyed, you know, I'm not gonna ask you to subscribe. You can go watch something else because my videos probably suck. But yeah, do what you want to do. How about that? Have some fun out there, you know. Maybe you can watch my other videos if you want, but they're not really much better than this. So yeah. Hey, Outcome Memories devs, if you're watching this, I like your game. I'm not gonna like ridicule you guys or anything. You guys are doing a pretty good job. So shout out to the Outcome Memories devs. You guys are awesome. Anyways, those are my suggestions. Feel free to start up a conversation in the comments. I'd be glad to respond to everyone because I like starting discussions. I think it's fun if we do so in a nice and friendly and welcoming environment. So if you have anything to add, please feel free to suggest something. With that being said, thank you for watching. Take care.